It's the 2nd of November and the runner beans are still going strong. I mean, obviously the bottoms are finished, but the tops are still going strong. The borlottis are drying up, which they should have done, but even they are still going at the top. Crazy year. And the tomatoes, 2nd of November, tomatoes growing outside, they're still going. Look, the apple tree's still going. The leaves are falling so you can see the apples better, but it's still going. And the blueberry is got its autumn foliage on. Lovely red foliage. People pay a fortune for these Japanese maples and things. This is all they do. But you get nice blueberries as well with these, and then you get this nice foliage in the autumn. Right, now that this coal frame is empty, I've moved the bricks here because what I've got to do over the course of the winter, these are all second-hand bricks obviously, and I just need to chip all this old concrete off, and then I can use them to build the base of the greenhouse. But I've got all winter to do this job, so I just want to put them out of the way over here for the moment, so that I've got this area by the gate clear. I've piled some of the rubbish here, but I'm going to put some more here, and then once some of the other rubbish is cleared from around the plot, I can work on those areas, because at the moment just weeding and cleaning around rubbish, which is pointless. So once the rubbish has all been moved to one place for collection, then I can sort out those other areas. Because when I moved the bath, that had all the grass that was in the bath, that had some rubbish in it, and there was some bricks and breeze blocks that somebody gave me for the greenhouse, so they're all sitting here, and there's bags of rubbish here, so all this stuff needs to be cleared out now that I've got somewhere to put them, and then I can get on and sort out this front bed. I mean, it's only grass, and obviously this tatty old bit of wood needs to go, and then I can get on and move. I've got figs and raspberries and things in these pots that need to be sorted out. And I've got to sort this corner out now, clear that. This bin is empty, so I can use that to store stuff in. But if I can cut that, I've got some more corrugated metal, put a piece across here, and this area can be another compost bin, because there's not much else it can be used for. I mean, this half under the carpet is a concrete path, so between here and just about where this metal with the pink top is a concrete path. So obviously I can't do any cultivation in there, and that's somebody else's plot, so really I don't need a path to that plot. So that half, and then that area is all rubbish anyway. I've cleared out some of the rubbish, and I'll clear the rest out, and going up to where the raised bed is, it's a good almost I guess 2.5 meters, 2.5 to 3 meters, I don't think it's quite 3 meters of compost bay, so that'll be a fair size, because then I can alternate, because it takes about 2 years for slow compost to complete. So this gives me one area to make compost, because this bay I cleared and rebuilt in 2020, and then I started putting stuff on it, and this newer stuff at the top, but the stuff at the bottom should be done, so I'll be able to go through this and collect some good compost, which I will need, and then I can set this off and then use the other one over there, the bottom, to start a new lot, and then we'll get them alternating. Some of the stuff in here will be a year old. The stuff at the very bottom is 2 years old, and that'll be useful, and then the other stuff that's a bit not quite so finished I'll put back in, and then any new stuff will go in that one, and I can dig that up in 2 years time, by which time this will be done. Greenhouse tomatoes are still going. I haven't watered these, just really to encourage the last bits to ripen, and then that's it. But yeah, still going. I haven't bought any tomatoes since June, and we're in 2nd of November, and I think I've still got another couple of weeks worth left here. There's a few little peppers left, but they're not going to come to much now. But the chilies are still going. Still going. So there's still, you know, The peppers now, these aren't going to come too much. I mean, I could get stir fry out of this lot, but then that would be it. I've cleared all the bricks and other bits and pieces. I'll put that somewhere in a minute. But I've cleared the bricks out of here, so that's done. Now I've got this really big piece of edging, and it is a really big piece, about 1 metre long, and I don't know if I put my foot there for reference, you can see it's quite a, and I don't know how far it goes into the ground, so I might actually leave this in the ground, especially with my shoulder. I really don't want to be messing with that now, so we'll leave this bit here. And now I've cleared this bit and I've removed, you can see the concrete now. It is falling apart, but so there's cracks in it. So worms will not have a problem coming up to the compost, and of course they can get in from this bit. But I've got some big slabs here which I'll have to move. Bits of metal buried as usual. Still bits of rubbish there. But I'll have to sort those out when I move these slabs. But a big piece of corrugated asbestos, that's partly buried in there, and I think that's there to keep the roots of the privet off this area. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that one. I'll have to have a think, because this side of the asbestos comes to about here on the composter. If I make the back edge of the composter match that, I'm going to lose 30 centimetres and only have a 60 centimetres of compost area. But if I want to use the whole thing, I've got to go to the edge, cut through this hedge, and I have to cut through that. There's nettles there, so I'm trying not to get stung, and there's still a bit of hawthorn here, so we have to do a bit of GBH on that privet to keep it off my side, because really it does need to go that way quite a bit. But before I do that, I think I might have to talk to the neighbours about that. But look at it, it's midday and this whole area is shaded by that privet. You can see that bit is not shaded, but all of this is in the shade of the privet. So if I'm going to grow stuff here, and I want to grow salad crops here, possibly during the winter, obviously this would be the place for it, because the greenhouse is there. I can come into the greenhouse and it'll be handy just to pick some winter salads from here, but obviously not if it's shaded by that. So my inclination is to get rid of it completely. But I'll have to wait till Katie turns up before I do that. And this is a complete disaster as well, because that hedge is growing again. I mean, I cut it way below the edge of those pieces of corrugated metal, but you can see it's growing quite a bit above it. Yeah, this idea of a cage here was a disaster. I think this was a boo-boo of epic proportions, because we've got the bindweed wrapping itself around. Now if I can find something I can put in pots, like herbs, and put them here, the thing is, it's all shaded. I could put parsley and coriander and things like chard that don't need a lot of sun. They could sit here in pots and they'll be fine. We've had slight ground frost. The tomatoes are still alright, but I think it's about time to get the tomatoes off. They're not going to do much more now. So I'll take all of these off. The beans, I think they'll last a bit longer. Certainly going. Allotments are done. These French bean cos violet. I left a few on just to see if the beans are any good for eating. Obviously that one's got a little bean in. So I get enough to try it out and see if it's any good. They'll be like haricot beans, but I'll try these out. And I've got some borlottis to try it as well. So I'll try these. And if they're any good, then I will grow more. If they're not, I won't grow any more. Well, I've pulled a lot of the bindweed that was on top of it, but looking at underneath it, look at it. It's had this plastic over it since the spring, and look at it. It's just completely riddled with bindweed. So I was right not to use this as a salad bed. I thought season of plastic on top of it would get rid of it, but I was wrong. There's still a hell of a lot of it. I've managed to pull half a tub of this bindweed roots from under that plastic. I took the bricks off, took the plastic off, and didn't really have to do much digging, because good thing about plastic is it forces these roots close to the surface, so they came out fairly easily. But considering I took out a ton of bindweed roots, I dug a lot of bindweed roots out of this in the spring, and then I put the plastic down, and still I managed to get this much. Because obviously it goes over onto the other side, and there's nothing I can do about the neighbour's side. But one thing I will do is I will take these down, because as you can see, it's just a climbing frame from bindweed. It was supposed to keep the birds off whatever was in here, but the bindweed got to it before the birds did. So if I take all these things off, I'll keep the back corrugated metal, because obviously it's holding that back, and that needs a good prune. I'll give that a prune early in the spring before the growing season, but at the moment there's not going to be much here anyway, so that doesn't matter. I think my plan of turning this into a salad bed is a non-starter. It's just too much bindweed, and I'll never get rid of it, because it's all got roots in between all the privet roots, so there's no way of getting rid of that. I really don't want to be pulling bindweed out of this salad bed all the time. It's going to be a nightmare, so I'll do something else with it. Put stuff in pots which will sit on top of this plastic, and you know, things like herbs and things that need to go in pots anyway. So that's going to go in this area, and then every year take the pots off, lift the plastic, and pull the bindweed, and it'll eventually stop it coming this way. There's still like bits of nettles. I'll pull some big ones out, but all the nettle roots are still there, and they're sort of wrap themselves around the stone and all these bits of metal and things, so it's very hard to get out. And with things like this you can pull them out, but you can see it's, you can pull and you pull and you end up with bits like that, or you end up taking the top off, but the roots are still there, so it'll come back, and can't really dig under that, so I just have to keep pulling those nettles till they go away. But fortunately, at least there's some use in the weed barrels, so they won't go to waste. Right, that's the harvest of tomatoes. Almost 2/3 of a carry bag full of tomatoes. It's got a lot of green ones, but there's still a few. I mean, these will be alright, they'll turn. Just about ready anyway, but there's quite a few green ones. But I'll do something with them so they won't go to waste. There's a few little tiddlers, but I don't think I'll be able to do much with them. So they're just getting the compost at home. We've still got tomatoes, but really they're coming to the end. So I think I'll clear out most of these now, and that'll be that. I mean, I've had a really good crop this year. There's only a few small peppers left now. I mean, they're not going to do much now. But the chilies, I mean, I've had a good picking, and they're still going. So can't really complain about that. And I've got to sort out these strawberry pots, get them out of the way. I mean, look at it, it's still flowering. That's not going to come to much, but it's still flowering.